Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It is time for another round of Premier League predictions. I'm hanging my head in shame after being thoroughly hammered, whipped and beaten by Thomas Pickering in predictions last week. Well done, Thomas. Let's gloss over that very quickly. We do put timestamps down below in the description, and we will be doing a very special video for the League Cup final as well, so make sure you check that one out in the week. But instead of using the timestamps, just stick with us for every game and hang on every word that we say.
Go.
And without further ado, all gilding the lily, as Tom likes to say, lead us into the first match.
Norwich City versus Leicester City.
Norwich, they look really good in most of the games they play, but they lose most of the games they play. I just hope that, obviously, they're going to get relegated. I just hope that they are sort of doing what Burnley did a few years ago, where just keep everything together, keep the money that you've earned from the Premier League, try and keep hold of your best players, go again in the Championship and see if you can come back stronger. Because Burnley should be the blueprint in this of what you can do. It's not always, it's not the end of the world if you go down from the Premier League. Leicester, they've been plodding along really, haven't they? I mean, they're kind of like, I don't know, they kind of seem to have gone off the boil a little bit. Like, Vardy doesn't seem to be scoring as many goals as he was.
He was out injured for a large portion of the recent.
True. That is true. It's hard to score when you are injured. I am being a little bit ultra critical then. But they're still obviously a very good side and they've had a great season, and you have to logically think that they will win this one. I think that this will be Norwich City 0, Leicester City 2.
I feel bad for Norwich because I think I've knocked them quite a lot this season, and I was kind of looking back on it, and like you said, Burnley, they kind of invested in themselves, they invested in their manager and the team, they've come back up and they've been stronger for it. Also, Norwich have kind of tried to do the Bournemouth, which means that I have to like them because they're using the Eddie Howe blueprint of we're a forward, we're an attacking side, we like to possess the ball, we like to use it. Unfortunately, you are going to be prone to making errors at this level, and they paid the price. I mean, their match against, who was it this week? Wolves. It was error city though. There's 3 errors and it's 3 goals basically, and
but at times it's like the first half, and even at times in the second half, they had like 70% possession. They're dominating the game, and then they concede a goal.
And they get chances as well, right? Like it's a classic thing of being at the bottom of the table, and you can't score when you finally do get in, and every time they shoot, they score. So I have a lot of sympathy for Norwich. That being said, Leicester are far too strong a team. I think that Leicester may end up limping a little bit to the finish line more than any other reason of what are they playing for, especially after whatever the hell happened in the Manchester match last week. I can't speak on VAR, and let's not talk about it for hours, but a series of questionable decisions this weekend, like a long series, and there's one I'm sure we'll highlight about.
You can talk about it if you want.
It's not worth it, and it's nothing to do with Leicester. If they played well, they probably deserved a result. Vardy hit the post with a great drive. Ended up losing, but they'll win this one. I think you went 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go for the sake of being fun 3-0.
What I've taken out of this game before we move on is Tom says that Leicester are going a bit limp. AFC Bournemouth versus Chelsea.
So it is 2 of my favourite teams this season. Bournemouth, always one of my favourites. I'm always pulling for Eddie and the boys. And Chelsea have played good football all season. They've had these weird defensive spells where all they can do is concede. But I think they actually won this week. Yes, they did. They beat Spurs, and they handily beat Spurs 2-1. This is the VAR incident I want to talk about. I'll highlight it here. We'll probably highlight it in the Spurs match. What the hell is VAR doing allowing Lo Celso to stay on the pitch? Even if you take whether malice was intended there, in or out, he's caught the guy mid-shin going straight into it. That's a red card just based on it being a badly timed challenge, let alone the fact that, yeah, he may have stamped. So, how he stayed on the pit? Yes in the back.
What I find, this is how common sense has gone out of the game. Because that incident was looked at by VAR and they've admitted they've made a mistake, they can't take retrospective action on that and give him a ban. Go football!
Is this the only sport that does this? Because I feel like it's the only sport that does this.
I think Crown Bowls has a problem with it.
I heard lacrosse can have some difficulties.
Synchronized swimming.
Curling has some problems with video replay. Look, enough of that. Look, Bournemouth were handily beaten, but again, VAR heavily contributes to this. I'll let you go into that before I start on some mad tangent of a match that I've only seen 10 seconds of highlights over. I'm just going to say, unfortunately for Bournemouth, this Chelsea team have picked up a win. They're doing better. I never thought they looked that bad under Frank. They seem to be just a bit up and down. They can't score goals, but if they play Olivier Giroud, they'll win. Of course, I can't do caveats in this, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Chelsea victory in this game.
Yeah, that seems a pretty fair result. I mean, we'll just see how Chelsea respond after they got a big game against Bayern Munich in the week as well. That's going to take a lot out of them, you would think. But I have to say, I mean, what happened on that journey up to Burnley for Bournemouth? They must have, run over a whole litter of black cats and, smashed the bus into, a mirror factory on the way up. Because how much bad luck did they have? They
run over a nun as well, I think, at the as they pulled up.
Yeah, witch's curse came. But oh my god, VAR is supposed to come in and get rid of the clear and fix clear and obvious mistakes. You see that first goal that was disallowed for Bournemouth, and you could watch that 100 times and you wouldn't be convinced if that's handball or not. So that goal should stand. The same with the okay, you might have a view that that there was handball, but I would debate that that's clear and obvious. So Bournemouth went up the other end, and that goal should stand as well. They could have easily come away with a win in this game.
This retrospective thing, where does it begin and end? Because to me, this seems to be an issue of how far back can we go? I can't remember what it was. It wasn't this week. It was last week. They go back a minute in the match to find the error. Well,
it was a Man City game against Spurs, I think.
Yeah.
But they actually had to stop the game because the ball hadn't gone out of play. And it just got really ridiculous how much time had passed in it. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously we all know VAR. I mean, let's not even get into it because it's farcical week on week on week. And I really felt for Bournemouth in this one. Eddie Howe, I mean, what are you supposed to do on this one? They could have got a win in that one, but his side are playing a lot better. They are looking a lot more like the Bournemouth side we've seen over the past few years. Yeah. I think they're going to get a draw. I'm going to say a draw in this one. I think 1-1.
I will say also, I think a lot of teams are banking on the City thing staying. I think there's a lot of talk, and I think quite possibly if Fifth does it, Chelsea are safe. It's if City stay in and it does go top four that Chelsea their slightly middling form might cause a problem. But it's not like Spurs have blown the fucking doors down. Sheffield United are doing great, but no one is about to accuse them of being a European side. Wolves, maybe they can put a run together. And Arsenal have been so damn inconsistent. They're still 7 points behind a Chelsea side that has only won one of its last 8 games, right?
If you're a YouTube channel and you do predictions, and I wouldn't ever recommend this, because it's not a very lucrative thing at all. Chelsea are a nightmare for a channel like this. Because you think they're on a slide, and then they pull out a good win. So then you go back them, and they'll probably go and lose 3-0 to Bournemouth.
Newcastle United hosting Burnley.
So Thomas, usually I would be absolutely waxing lyrical about Steve Bruce at this point, and I still I know in my heart that he is the second coming of Kevin Keegan.
I will love it if we beat
However,
him. Love it.
Like King Kevin, he did have a penchant for being a little bit reckless, and he made the odd mistake. And I think that Steve Bruce is also a little bit guilty of that, because this Newcastle side cannot score bloody goals. They are absolutely horrific going forward. How they've won as many games as they have is baffling, because yes, they are set up very, very well defensively. They've got a great goalkeeper and they're very solid, but they were so poor against Palace. I think they barely even mustered a shot in the whole game. It was a really, really bad display, and they are sliding towards trouble. I mean, they got 31 points, but they got it. They literally need to get the win sooner rather than later, because you wouldn't fancy it if it comes down to the last few weeks of the season. So come on, Steve, I still believe in you. I still believe that you can get something against Sean Dar. Oh God, I'm playing Burnley. I just looked at that. Newcastle 1-0. Go Toon.
So Ian would like to yet again be thrashed in Premier League predictions like last week. Ian, how does it feel to be down 13-3 or something on last week. Does it hurt? A bit sore.
Wasn't great, Tom. Wasn't great.
I've
had better weekends.
Your constant backing of Newcastle is a serious problem. Burnley are one of those teams that you and I finally had just gotten around to the whole they're not playing that well. We're going to predict them to lose a series of matches, and now they've won and drawn like 3 or 4 in a row.
Incredible run. I think they've won 4 and drawn 1 out of the last 5 games.
Like, it's exhausting, it's cruel, it's hard to keep up with. I just had it up in front of me and then I X'd out.
Maybe they might be the ones to get into Europe.
It's 4 wins in the last 5 matches. The one problem you have is Newcastle have really good home support, and they are a well-drilled team. They don't tend to lose 4-0. It's 1-0, 2-1, etc. So I'm going to go for a Burnley win, but I'm all... Oh, no, you know what? It's a 1-1 draw, Ian. It's a 1-1 draw up north.
Please play Dwight Gale. Don't keep Joe Linton up.
Joe Linton. Joe Linton. Joe Linton.
Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I think this is the match where Spurs start to lose touch with the top 5. I think this is where it's all going to start going awry. There's no strikers at the club. Where are the goals going to come from? And they've never been mentally strong enough to come through a really sticky period with like positive credit, if you know what I mean. Like, oh, we're basically top of the league. Leicester oh no, Leicester have overtaken. Oh my God, we're above Arsenal. Oh, Arsenal over. Like, they at one point went in 3 weeks from 1st to 3rd to end the season. Like, they don't want to win. I don't think they want to win. I think they're all nuts. I think they're useless. Is Spurs becoming my new Arsenal? It's quite possible. Because what the hell is going on at this club? They're nuts. How is Lo Celso's going to play? I don't even know how to say his name correctly. He's still going to play football, isn't he? You can stamp on a guy's leg and try and shatter his shin, but he's still going to play football. That being said, I love this Wolves team. They are so much fun to watch. Who was it? Jota scored 2. He's now in his last 10 games scored 11 goals. He's only scored in 5 of those games. He always
an amazing hat trick he got in the Europa League as well.
Yeah.
And then he nearly scored a hat trick against Norwich too.
And Raul Jimenez, who's been off the boil despite what has been a good run for Wolverhampton Wanderers, went out, got himself a goal. I feel like Wolves are turning into Spurs. They're good, they're young, they're hungry, they have an inspirational manager who talks sense and cares. I got Wolves to win this 2-0.
And they won a game without conceding a goal, which is very, very good for Wolves. Well done, Wolves. By the way, Tom, I was having a hard time getting over the comment of very sticky period. But anyway, Tottenham under Mourinho. So why does he come out and absolutely throw his team under the bus? Literally almost giving up on the season. And I'm just going to make a comparison. Burnley, I think they lost a couple of strikers, so they had to bring in Vidra. And Dyche described it as, what a great opportunity. He gets his chance. Let's hope he takes it. Giving him confidence. Mourinho describes it as, oh, wow, what chance do we possibly have? We're never going to score a goal. I mean, it's like, what message does that send to everybody at the club? But he gets a pass of it because he's a genius, isn't he? They'll say it as, oh, he's planning for next season and trying to get his transfer targets in early doors. I mean, I don't know. This is the sort of game where it's backs to the wall and you could see Spurs winning it, especially because Wolves have got to play Thursday night. Spurs got a week off. But I do hope Wolves win, and because I hope Wolves win, I'm going to back them as well. I'm going to say it'll be Tottenham Hotspur 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 3.
It is the middle. There's only 8 matches that we have to cover this week, so it's my turn. 8 matches? No?
Whoa, I'm throwing in a mystery.
Right, anyway, we're still doing the middle part here. I did not sign up to anything that Ian is doing this. Let me very quickly say thank you to all of you for liking the channel. Thank you to all of you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for the comments we're getting. We get a lot of them on the League One and the Oxford videos, and we really appreciate it. We love the interaction with you guys. We love finding out that Ian's generally wrong about 9% of the facts he states, which is why he can't win in predictions. Also, please look at Grandstand Bettors. Everything is in association with them. They are a fantastic tipster website. They will win you lots of money. The only person that will win you more money is me last weekend. Just saying, it's a good week for me. I'm going to live it. And I don't really think there's a whole lot else to say. Check out our timestamps if you don't want to listen to this. And for once, short, sweet, Without any further ado, Ian, what is the next match?
West Ham United versus Southampton.
West Ham are continuing to just slide. I can't see them beating Liverpool tonight. I mean, if they do, fair play, and I've totally ruined this, but the funny thing is every time I click on the Premier League table, everyone has greens for wins, reds for losses, and some greys for draws. Except Liverpool, who've had a straight line of fucking green for like 4 months now, and it's exhausting. And I cannot see West Ham winning. Then we've got Southampton. Go out, they beat Villa. Villa manager comes out and says half his team have just played themselves out of a cup final. Southampton they're a Premier League side that are staying in the Premier League essentially at this point, and West Ham are a Premier League side dropping like a rock. And I can't back them against Southampton. Southampton to win 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, this one is a really important game for West Ham. It sounds obvious, but because of their fixtures in March, and because obviously you'd assume they're going to lose to Liverpool. And Moyes has already come out today and said, we're not going to get a result by playing attacking football at Liverpool. So he's pretty much just waving the white flag like he did against City in the last game as well. This is a game where they need to take points, and if they don't, then I don't see them getting any points until April. And then they're in real trouble. They still will have a chance to get out of it because they've got to play virtually everyone in the bottom 6. So they're not dead, but things could get really bad for West Ham before they have any sort of recovery. And they look devoid of all confidence. That display against Man City was pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. So I felt so sorry for the West Ham. I mean, I don't really feel sorry for West Ham fans, but that was a horrible journey up to Manchester that day. And to put on that performance was atrocious, really.
Southampton are almost safe if they win this.
Yep. Well, I mean, they've been really good. I mean, as I say, they've responded from terrible results earlier on in the season and generally have just picked up points and done really well. So there's no qualms about Southampton. They're sort of like what you would expect from them, really. But I can't see West Ham winning it, but I think they might get a draw. I think this might be one when they throw away a lead again. I think I'm going to say 2 each.
I mean, that'd be a great result. It just,
I don't think it would. I think they need a win. I think they just need a win. They
need a win, but they need to put a tourniquet on. They've lost 3 of their last 5. They need. I mean, a point takes them above Villa, right? On goal difference, but a point takes them above Villa. They're out of the relegation zone, and there's no discounting how important that is to a team to not be in the relegation zone.
I mean, that's the only thing that they can say is the fact they've been as bad as they can possibly be, and they're still like only in the relegation zone by a point.
It's time for Watford versus Liverpool.
Just lost to Manchester United, a game where they actually played quite well, but similarly to Newcastle against Arsenal, where they played quite well and lost 4-0.
I watched the highlights of this game. Holy hell, Man United were opened up multiple times in this.
Yeah. They were. I mean, but it's like, I don't think Manchester United were bad in the game. Watford were decent. They just couldn't take their chances. They thought they'd equalised, but it was quite rightly ruled out by VAR on this occasion. But they ended up losing 3-0, and they're the side that needs to get wins. But they're not going to get one in this one. This is almost like a game where you just have to just accept you're not going to get anything, because no one's going to get anything out of Liverpool this season because they're just too damn good. The only way Watford can get anything out of this is if Liverpool rest players ahead of the Atletico Madrid game, which is not even there, is it? Because they've got FA Cup. I'm talking nonsense. Ignore me. Liverpool going to win 2-0.
So I'm just going to give my prediction and then I'll talk about it. I'm going to go with 3-0 because you went 2-0. This Liverpool team are going to get a record points haul, almost certainly. I also think that their record points haul may take 40 years to overtake, because there has never been a team in the league that has been this strong in relation to everybody else. I don't like talking about it. We don't normally harp on about how good Liverpool have been. But
especially you.
Jesus Christ, it's been a painful season if you don't support Liverpool. They have been nothing short of sensational. They are shipping almost under half a goal a game. I mean, they're so airtight at the back, and they're scoring goals for fun. They're almost averaging 2 goals a game in the league. It's mind-blowing how good they are, and it's annoying that quite possibly Liverpool have won one Premier League title, but it may go down as one of the best Premier League titles of all time based on their points total. Yeah. And that's just how it is, and Liverpool fans enjoy it because this is your one title for the next 40 years.
Thomas, hang your hat on this. Let's say Liverpool win every single game now to the end of the season.
Yeah.
Who was the side that denied perfection?
Man United. Take that, you.
They're the real winners, folks. They're the real winners. But Thomas, watch out! The Eagles are coming. Because it's Brighton, Hove and Albion versus Crystal Palace.
So, Ian, I have a fantastic statistic for you. Okay. With Crystal Palace's win against Newcastle United last week, they became the 90th club in all of England to win a football match in 2020. Wow. Who's the team that hasn't won a football match in this decade?
Norwich?
That's right, it's Brighton and Hove and Albion.
Oh my God.
All three of them have failed to win a football match. And I tell you what, you don't see a huge amount of change coming. The Sheffield United match was great for them. It's huge, but they were outplayed. They weren't the better team for a huge amount of it, and they just don't inspire any confidence. At this point in the season, they're exactly where they were under Chris Hughton. There's no points difference. There's barely a goal difference. All that fantastic play, all the things we were talking about aren't there. And they're a club trying to arrest a constant slide. Whereas, and I've looked into this. You were right about Crystal Palace. They are having some serious difficulties. There's a lot of unrest. There's a lot of people questioning how they can be in the Premier League for this league with literally no money seemingly going into the matchday squad. There's talks about Hodgson being bored there. He's getting a bit of flack from fans. But I still think Palace are in a much better situation, and they have a get-out-of-jail-free card in players like Wilf Zaha, who can just on a dime change a football game. And currently, the only player Brighton have who can do that is Glenn Murray. And as much as I love Glenn Murray, the spirit animal of all of Brighton and Hove, I don't know if he's going to pull a cat out of a bag or something out of a shoe or a thing somewhere. Now I'm talking nonsense, so let's go with my prediction of 1-0 to the Palace.
Inexplicably, what I heard on Saturday was Palace are even going to offer Roy Hodgson a new contract. So I'm not sure what the story is coming out of Crystal Palace. I actually didn't think Brighton were too bad against Sheffield United. I thought once they got back into the game, they had some chances to win it. They were just a bit wasteful. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, what better position are they in than under Chris Hughton? That they were supposed to come in and play all singing and all dancing football, and it's not really happening for you. Don't forget, this is actually a pretty big derby game. Most people wouldn't think Brighton and Palace is, but this is stems off some trouble they had in the playoffs. I really should have looked it up, really, shouldn't I, before it came into it, but I didn't. But these two do have a big rivalry against each other.
And it's London versus Brighton. I mean, they're 45 minutes away from each other.
Pardon?
It's South London versus Brighton. They're 45 minutes from each other.
Yeah, it is to do with that, but it's obviously Brighton, there's closer teams to them on the South Coast, but I just know this one is like one of those derbies where I didn't realise that was such a rivalry. So I expect it to be quite a hostile atmosphere. Actually, it's a really tough one to call. I could just see it being a draw again. I could just see it being 1-1.
Fair. So what you're saying is they yet again won't win.
Pretty much. Hard to back them.
Now, Ian, rumor has it you're ruining my day and introducing a mystery match.
That's right, Thomas, because as you know, we don't have a full quota of games, so what we have to do is channel a little bit of the spirit of last year and bring in a mystery match. And what better place can we do to look at is by looking at the start of the MLS season. That's right, folks. We're going back to something we did in the summer.
Weren't we banned from the MLS?
They've given us one game and one game only, and it is featuring David Beckham's brand new club. That's right. We're doing the game between Los Angeles Football Club and Inter Miami. CF.
Centre de Football. Yeah, I know nothing about either of these teams. I find it hard to back a side that have literally never played a match together to think they're going to win. So I'll go with the LAFC over the Inter Miami. Who's at home?
Los Angeles.
So I'm going to go with LAFC winning 3-0.
What a party pooper. This is David Beckham's biggest day. This is his proudest moment in football. I don't think he ever did anything in his club career, did he? Did he ever win a title?
I don't think he won a title, didn't win a Champions League, never scored a famous goal for England. Did he play in a World Cup?
I think he had an affair. That was about all he ever did in his career. But we still love the guy. And for that reason, and that reason alone, I am backing... Is it Inter Milan?
Yeah.
Inter Milan to win 2-1. Beckham to score the winner. And do I get a bonus point if he does?
Yes, Ian. A bonus point if Bex runs on the pitch and scores.
We've had a lot of fun here today. But it's finally time for something serious. It's time for the main event.
Everton versus Manchester United Football Club.
It's very, very sad, isn't it, that we didn't get to talk about Sheffield United, so I can't do the Chris Wilder thing. We didn't get to talk about Arsenal, so you can't call them a dumpster fire. But at least you do have Everton to talk about, and you do have your rejuvenated Manchester United Football Club, because resident expert Thomas Pickering is going to lead you through it.
Welcome to my afternoon of speaking about Everton, the wheelie bin on fire. I'm really going to quickly touch on this. Everton actually looked quite good against Arsenal. Scored like 1 minute into the match, managed to lose 3-2. Apparently when Aubameyang chooses to score, they just can't not get a result. But that being said, Everton, you're a wheelie bin ablaze, rolling down the road. No one cares, and God knows what your plan is. Man United won a second straight game with a second straight clean sheet after a pretty drab 1-1 draw against Club Brugge, but it was away from home. It's the away goal. You feel like they're going to progress at home, so everything right now is pointed in solid green in an upward arrow at Man United. We've seen this happen many times this year, and I know better than to buy in, but damn it, am I drinking the Kool-Aid again? Bruno Fernandes is the second coming of Eric Cantona mixed with Peter Schmeichel in goal, David Beckham on the right wing, and Ruud van Nistelrooy scoring goals up front. He is a Portuguese revelation. And ladies and gentlemen, he will lead Man United to the promised land. Paul who? We've got Bruno. Honestly, though, he's given a huge injection to this Man United team as he has no fear of passing the ball forward, something that literally no midfielder at Man United feels confident in doing. He's had a really good game. To me, he dives slightly for his penalty, but I'll take it. He looks like he's going down the minute the ball goes past the goalkeeper. Probably could have hurdled him, but that's neither here nor there. Great penalty. Weirdest little hop step I've ever seen.
Like Jorginho does that for Chelsea, doesn't he? If you miss it, you look like a bloody idiot.
But it was so calm and collected, and that's kind of like he seems to be the only player at Man United that truly backs himself outside maybe Rashford, and like I mean backs himself and then actually does it, not Jesse Lingard backs himself and then can't put a pass to any single other player on the pitch. Quick shout out to, is it Harry Gregg? Is that his last name? If I fucked it up again.
No, it's fine.
No, right. Moment of silence for him was really well observed. Only one member now of the Munich air disaster left, and that's Bobby. He's never going to die, though, so it's all right. Man United were class. They were value for their win. They were cut open multiple times, but they stood strong. De Gea is starting to look a bit more like old De Gea as opposed to the De Gea we've seen for the last year. It's weird that Fernandes seems to have brought a bit of belief back into Man United. They seem to think they can win since he joined them, and that's kind of translating itself across when you're watching them. You just feel like at any point they could score a goal, and that's a nice feeling to have with Rashford out. It's going to be a tough game. Everton are never easy to beat, even though they love to lose football matches, but they still make you work for it. I've got United winning this one 2-0, though, with a third straight clean sheet.
Yeah, I mean, Manchester United did labour a little bit against Watford, but once they got the first goal, they look really good. Just general theme for Man United, when they take the lead in the game, they're very good front runners. They seem to go on and never seem to really relinquish the lead after that. Everton have really turned around. It was a really, really good game against Arsenal. Very end-to-end, a lot better than what we saw earlier on in the season. Ancelotti certainly brought a lot of confidence. You got like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin are playing really well at the moment. And they just look like the side you expect them to be, really. And that's like kind of, this will be a tough game. But I do think Man United will win it. I think they'll win it by 2-1. I think Martial's goal in the Watford game was wonderful. It came at the right time as well because Watford were having a little spell. They thought they'd equalised and that really killed them off. But yeah, I think, as we say all season, I think Man United are a good side, and really the only thing that's holding them back is Ollie. Having a PE teacher as your manager, is that really good? Giving a guy work experience on the job, is that really good?
I mean, on that note, can we get that? I'll take him for a week, Ian, then you take him for a week, and we see who wins more
I
games.
wouldn't be surprised if they just at the end of the Everton game, if they just kind of do a switch and just say, Angela, no, you come with us and you can have this guy.
Get over here, old man. You manage this team now.
Okay, everybody, I think that'll do it for this week. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, as always, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and go and check out Grandstand Betters. Thomas, do we have anything else to add?
If you're looking for detailed football analysis, probably in the wrong place.